Yes, reggae fans, this is Fully Full Word, and you're tuning in to the top ranking podcast sound, best sound in the world, so don't disappoint me.
All right, you're tuned in today to the top ranking reggae podcast. It's the show where you get to hear the stories behind the songs. My name is Glenn Holdaway, and I'll be your host. So far on this podcast, we primarily focused on Jamaican and American reggae, but today we're going to shine a light on the country of Brazil. When one thinks of Brazil, a few images may come to mind. The lively carnival celebrations, huge soccer stadiums, jiu-jitsu and martial arts champions, or even the beautiful Amazon rainforest. But you might be surprised to learn that Brazil is also the home of one of the largest reggae festivals in the world, República do Reggae. The festival took place this year in Bahia, and today we are very fortunate to be joined by one of the artists who performed there, none other than the one and only Jahgun. Jahgun was born and raised in Brazil, specifically the state of Bahia and the city of Salvador. His love for reggae music developed at an early age, and at only 14 years old he began performing with the hugely popular band Olodum. For those unfamiliar, Olodum were founded in 1979 and are the pioneers of blending Brazilian samba music with reggae. Their musical innovations have had a tremendous impact not only on the musical landscapes of Brazil, but the entire world, as they have famously collaborated with some of the biggest artists on the globe, including Michael Jackson, Paul Simon, Jimmy Cliff, Herbie Hancock, and many others. As Jahgun matured and came into his own, he left Olodum and moved to Los Angeles in 2001, and has since established himself as one of the most exciting reggae artists in the city, especially live. If you have not yet had a chance to experience a Jahgun concert, I can attempt to sum it up for you in one word: energy. Ever true to his Brazilian heritage, Jahgun's live performances are larger than life and capture the energy of carnival with horns and drums and lots of dancing and choreography. There's no question that the audience will be on their feet, jumping up and down the entire time. It's a full-on party when Jahgun plays. So definitely make sure to check his tour dates and catch him the next time he's in your city. If you're someone listening who has yet to hear what Brazilian reggae sounds like, I'm sure by now you're probably pretty curious, and I'm here to tell you that you're in luck because Jahgun just dropped a new album titled My Foundation. The entire album is produced by Aston Barrett Jr., son of the legendary Aston Family Man Barrett of the Wailers. Aston and Jahgun's sound work so well together on this project, and the whole album is a really fun listen as it covers so many different styles of reggae, including everything from lovers rock, rub-a-dub, rockers, reggaeton, and more. My personal favorite song off this album is called Ever Love, and there's a great music video on YouTube as well that I would highly recommend watching for this song. As for the rest of this album, if you listen closely, you might hear some familiar trumpet playing on some of these tunes. In today's episode, Jahgun welcomed me into his home, and we had a great conversation that I'm looking forward to sharing with you now. So, with all that being said, I think it's time. Without further ado, I bring to you my interview with Jahgun. All right, everybody, we're here today with the one and only Jahgun. How you doing today, man?
Good.
Yeah,
How you doing?
thank you so much for having me over into your beautiful house. It's really a pleasure to be here, and it's an honor to have you on the show. As soon as I started this podcast, I knew right away that I wanted you to be one of the guests on the show.
Good to know that.
Yeah, I remember I texted you. I was like, "Hey, I'm about to start a podcast. Are you down?" You're
Yeah,
like,
I'm
of
down.
course, man.
Anytime.
Yeah, that's, I don't know how much the people watching this know about, our history together, but you're one person who's always had my back ever since I started playing music, and I've always been really thankful to know you and, have you be kind of a mentor in my life, man. So
Likewise,
Yeah.
it's good to always good to have you, playing with us or playing with me, and knowing that I could count on you anytime that I call. Hey, record this horn or come and play. You're always there. So
man.
So it was kind of like investment since the beginning, knowing you and in working with you. It's a good investment,
Yeah. Do you remember the day we met and how that all went down?
Yeah, that was at St. Rock.
Yeah.
We played there with that was New Rockers. We played there. I think who plays drums? I think Pius played drum with us at that time.
Yeah, I think it was maybe
Pius?
Marcos.
Yeah, Marcos and Pius.
Yeah.
And after that, that was the beginning of a relationship right there.
Yeah, man. I think I was just turned 19, so
Yeah,
it's been a crazy journey, man.
Yeah, you almost get into the front door. I think, yeah.
They were
like
trying to
that.
throw me out of the club because it was like a 21-plus-year-old place, and I was playing in the opener, and
you have to play early and finish and stay away, right?
They were trying to kick me out, and I was like, no, but Jahgun asked me to sit in on his set, and they didn't believe me at first. So I had to like convince them that it was okay.
It happens with before it happened with the what is his name? Kofi. Kofi played there years ago with us. Kofi and Carl, they played with us. They played horn. Actually, Kofi was playing. Kofi played trombone.
Yeah.
And Carl played trumpet, and then we played there. And Kofi's wife at the time was his girlfriend. She was a minor. She couldn't get in.
Oh.
Yeah, she went all the way there and like, hey, you can't be here. I think she was like 18, 19, something
Yeah,
like that.
that's one
I
of
think
the
she was
strictest
19.
places about that. Yeah. But I'm glad it worked out because, yeah, if we hadn't gotten a jam that night, then my life would be very different. And one thing I've always appreciated about you is that no matter what it is, whether like the first time I ever sang on stage was with you because you just handed me a mic one day. You're like, here, just sing.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't know how to sing. You're like, just sing.
Yeah, you've been singing our shows. Just go ahead and take it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you were shocked. You were surprised.
I couldn't believe it. No one had just handed me a mic before. But you've always encouraged me and I feel like brought out the best in me. And I see you do that with everyone that you bring onto stage. You bring out parts of people that they didn't know were in there. So
yeah, sometimes people don't have the gut, like they believe in what they could do. So sometimes it's good to have somebody to just like, hey, here.
Yeah,
do it,
you've definitely been that person for me.
Yeah, I see things in people that they don't see in themselves. That was something about me too. Growing up, I didn't have that many people to support me and do what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I always have to encourage myself.
Yeah.
So if I have somebody like to really do it, and my brother was there, but he was never encouraged me to do it. I was encouraged by him.
Yeah.
Just by watching him and not getting him to come to me, hey, go ahead and do it. No, I never done that. It was me, always me pushing myself to do it.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you brought up your upbringing because, we were obviously just talking. We've known each other a long time.
Recording your own album and everything now?
Yeah. But I've never really gotten a chance to like sit down and talk to you about, your early life and, what it was like for you growing up. So I'd love to do that today and, hear all about your story. I know you're from Bahia in the city of Salvador.
Yeah.
And like what was that like? And yeah, I've never been to Brazil. I'm sure a lot of the listeners today haven't been to Brazil. Like, what could you describe about growing up in that city and what that was like for you?
Growing up in Bahia is a bless. It's always but because Bahia is like we Brazilians know the Bahia, Salvador in particular, is like a stage. Anybody that was born in Bahia, we don't born. We starring,
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
That's what they say about us because everybody's something. Everybody's a capoeirista, everybody's a singer, everybody's a percussionist, everybody's a dancer, everybody's an actor, everybody's is an artist.
What about that city kind of brings that out of people? Like, is it just like a very artistic city or like?
Salvador, in particular, it is very art is everywhere. You're doing art without even knowing you're an artist.
Yeah.
All of a sudden somebody called, hey, I need somebody to sing at this show. Hey, they're calling people out of nowhere, and then they would be able to get the role real quick because everybody pretty much have experience in doing something there.
Yeah.
Like I say, even the worst artist or musician, whatever, when they come to a place like this, automatically, as soon as they land at the airport, they become an artist here, like a professional. Me and my brother talk about that. Like people like never done anything professionally. They just do it for fun, and when they get over here, as soon as they get here, they become a professional.
Wow. Was music always in your family? Like, how did you kind of first get exposed to music?
Music always been in my family. I didn't know I was gonna be a musician. My biological father, he was a singer and an accordion player. I wasn't raised by him. I didn't get to know about him or his existence until right before he died.
Wow.
My grandfather was he was not exactly my grandfather. He was like my grandmother's nephew. That was
Oh,
the
wow.
same age as my grandmother, so I call him grandfather. He's a very, very popular artist from Brazil. His name is Tião Motorista,
Wow.
and he was one of the pioneers of samba
Wow.
in Bahia. Yeah, back in the day, he have group. He have his own group. He was recording many albums and wrote a lot of songs that people actually today and re-record a lot of his stuff
Wow.
without permission, but they did. But
Yeah.
you know how they do. They think because somebody died and somebody was old, they don't know that we're here watching.
Yeah.
So soon come something that we're about to record a lot of his stuff. We're gonna do a different version of it. He records a lot of his old samba into reggae.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people re-record a lot of his stuff, and without our permission.
Yeah.
And I have a permission to record all of that stuff. And
Well, yeah, I hope so.
I'm about to revive a lot of his music. A lot of people know the music, but they don't know who wrote the songs.
Wow.
Who the originator of the lyrics, So, but a lot of people gonna know exactly where the music came from.
Yeah,
So.
man. You're talking about samba and stuff like that. Was reggae popular when you were growing up?
In my era, reggae was popular at that time, but because of discrimination, people always simulated. It's always gonna be reggae and ganja, always gonna be together. But a majority of the time, people chose to take reggae music and put it in a position that not everybody should have access to it. But wherever in the world, especially in third world country like in Brazil, the music of poverty is reggae music.
Yeah.
So reggae music is the music that encourage people to become whatever they want to be.
Yeah.
Reggae music always been the anthem of the less privileged ones. So
Yeah.
reggae music was always there.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So talking about reggae and stuff. So you said it's mainly like the message of the music that appealed to you and the people in Brazil. Like, how did you find Rasta and all that? Like, when did you first become a Rasta?
The belief of Rasta became when I moved over here, but I already
Wow.
had the nickname in Brazil.
Really?
I used to shave my head during my modeling years.
Oh, you were a
And then,
model? At one
yeah, I
point?
used to be a model.
Wow.
My modeling years, participating in commercials, soap opera, music videos,
Wow.
movies.
So
and
you had
things
like a
that.
whole acting career as
Yeah.
well. Oh, because I've seen pictures. I've been to ask you about this too. I've seen pictures you posted with you and like The Rock and Mr. T and like all these
Yeah,
random
that was Mr. T was actually at the gym.
he just ran into
He was at the gym. Kevin Hart was at the gym, but Jimmy Fox was actually when I performed American Idol.
Oh, you were on
I
American.
performed there not as a contestant, but I was there because I participated in promoting one of their movies that came out,
wow.
Rio, the movie Rio with the birds. So they were promoting there, so they hired a bunch of musicians to do the live version of the
Wow.
recording. Yeah, so it was will.i.am and Jamie Foxx. They recorded parts of the track for the movie, so we would start doing a lot of shows because of that.
Yeah. Wow. Well, yeah. I meant to ask you about your acting career. Even during COVID, I remember my parents randomly texted me one day like, "We just saw Jahgun on TV, and you're in a commercial."
Oh, that was a commercial. Actually, that commercial was for here, but it was actually the commercial. I got hired for the commercial with the agency in Brazil. I don't even know that agency exists.
Oh, wow.
Somebody told me, hey, it's a friend of mine, like, a childhood friend, she worked with this lady. And the lady said she was looking for people that actually speaks English in Brazil that could sing something in English.
Oh, wow.
So she told me about it. I did the audition, sent the video, and they called me and said, hey, you're in.
Wow.
So all of a sudden, it started playing everywhere. Here. So that was the first time I done some other stuff. I done something for the World Cup with Shakira, and they were playing on TV all the time. Commercial, they were playing all the time. I did some other stuff. They were playing on TV. The Rock was a movie that was
What
called
movie was
The
that?
Rundown.
The Rundown?
Yeah, the Rundown.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they play sometimes on Netflix and play all that stuff. I see sometimes. At one point, every time I was going to Brazil to visit my family, that movie just play on TV. Like I arrived over there and the movie play on TV the night before or something over there, and people, hey, that's the guy right there. Like, yeah, for a long time the movie was playing every time I was going over there. They felt like they knew I was coming to Brazil. They was like,
wow,
yeah,
that's random, man. I gotta check that out.
But that was good to have that playing and get people to see me, because of the internet was not as hot as it is right now for people.
Sure.
When you're far, you're far. People actually forget who you are, and actually having things like that, playing movies and things like that, and they showing in Brazil, for me was good, because a lot of people, they forgot about who I was or where I came from.
Yeah.
And then they start seeing, they're like, I'm not just being in another country, because a lot of people, there's the stigma out there, especially in Brazil, and people leave the country, they go to another country, they end up doing all kind of stuff. Could be prostitution, could be all kind of wrong stuff, because they can't see it. And it's so easy to make money in another country, so they probably assuming, I don't know about my case, but that was case that people talk about me, you know, what he's doing over there, what he's doing in another country. And then when they start seeing what I do, every time I was going, bring music, I brought a bunch of DVDs one time showing a music video that I've done here, recordings of my stuff and giving away, and that people get to knowing that I was here in a mission, not just here, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I want to come back to that and like what brought you out specifically to LA. But I remember you told me that when you were very young, one of the first bands you ever started really playing with was Olodum, I believe, right?
Yeah, Olodum was before I came over here. That was my school right there.
Could you describe to the listeners who maybe aren't familiar with Olodum? Like,
Olodum, if you're not familiar with Olodum, you can just go to on YouTube and type Michael Jackson didn't really care about us, and then you're gonna see Olodum, the big giant band. That's what I came from, you know. So
yeah,
you know, so Olodum is a band that plays a fusion of samba and reggae together. We have parts of the instruments that play the downbeat of the reggae, and some other instruments that play the higher part that mimics the guitar and the keyboard and the piano. You know, that was the hipiki playing chak 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 chak, and then the bass drum do 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 chak chak do 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 do. That's reggae.
So they're basically playing like the skank
reggae
and the bass line, but on drums instead of. Wow.
That's what it is. A lot of people don't know. But if you play reggae, when you play samba reggae, if you're a reggae musician, it's easy for you to know what to play. But at the same time, the bass player don't know exactly where he's going to play, because the bass drum is already playing his part.
Yeah.
So sometimes some musicians, they have to pull back and let the drum do all the talking.
Yeah.
And then he just put a little accents to it.
Yeah.
You know? Benji is very easy playing that stuff now as a reggae musician, you know. He can play that easily now because I introduced him to that music.
That concept.
But some people, they don't know, you know, when Andrew Tosh performed in Brazil, Olodum performed with Andrew Tosh. And
like
they
backing him up?
Not
like
back on one particular song that was Rastafari.
Oh, yeah. There's that huge drum break in that, yeah.
Yeah, so they played through the whole song. But when they started playing, the band was already playing.
Yeah.
So it's easier for the drums to fit into it.
Yeah.
But if it was the up and the musicians that was backing Andrew Tosh, they were Brazilians. That was I think that was Leões Israel, I think. If not, it was my mistaken, but it was a band. It was a Brazilian band.
Okay.
Playing. Actually, it was not Leões Israel. It was another band. That a guy actually he produced a lot of the stuff that you're playing with me.
Wow.
Yeah. Ricardo Verocai. He's a son of a legendary Arthur Verocai. You probably know about his music, Verocai.
Wow.
Yeah, is a composer from Brazil. People here sample a lot of his music.
Wow.
Yeah, you know his music. I'm sure that if you're into jazz, you learn his music. Yeah. So he was playing keyboard on that band. So like I said, because the musicians are from Brazil, it was easier because they're familiar with the sound. So they play the song first, and then Olodum came in right into start jamming with them. It was very easy to mix it because they started after. if they started first, it will be harder for the musician to come in.
Yeah, because they have to fit into the
exactly.
drums.
It's easier for the keyboard and the guitar to come in because all they have to do is just they follow the pattern of the higher notes of the drums.
Yeah.
So because the bass the bass of the Olodum is the drums, so they have to pull it back and see where they're gonna fit in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's such an interesting concept.
That's pretty much bass.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So would you say, because it's so interesting to me, like reggae is such a worldwide phenomenon, and each country that reggae comes to, like it kind of takes on its own personification. You can tell like each, like reggae from, I don't know, like Chile sounds different than like Puerto Rico, or reggae from Hawaii, or reggae from California, or reggae from Jamaica. Like, how would you describe reggae from Brazil?
I can describe, like I said earlier, poverty brought one form, or each form by each place, to describe exactly what the struggle of the people. In some places, the struggle is not as much as some other places, so they choose another lyrics to interpret their lifestyle and come to reggae.
Yeah.
Like, you can be from England and red, red, wine. You see what I mean? But if you're from Ivory Coast, you can sing Coco, Coco, Coco de Rock. You see what I mean? So each region that you go to, the music speaks differently.
Yes.
You see what I mean? It's like the dialect is there as one, but the language, the language is different, because we can use our body language in Brazil and emulate what Jamaicans would do, And then if it can be from any Caribbean country, they can emulate what Jamaicans would do easily, because the Caribbean, the weather, all the music come from that. They have to have the same type of style, because it was a formula that was created before. So people just follow that formula. But when it comes to the lyrics, everybody expresses themselves through the struggle or reality that they have in each place. You can be from Germany and sing gentleman's reggae, but they don't gonna express how I would express through the lyrics. You see what I mean? Somebody from Barbados, they're gonna play reggae and they're gonna emulate what Jamaican would do in the lyrics, because a very similar culture. Anywhere that the culture have similarities, like South Africa with Lucky Dube playing, some of his lyrics. The lyrics are very similarity of Jamaica, because they have the same lifestyle with the struggle and things like that, and the whole apartheid and things. So the lyrics of Lucky Dube and whoever play music in that region, they, emulate what was already written before by Jamaicans.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, the idea of reggae is always going to be the same. It's just going to change the accent of what people are saying.
Yeah.
But the idea is the same.
Yeah, and bringing in different influences from what your experiences or upbringing is. And I guess kind of coming back to Olodum, like they were a pretty famous band in Brazil. Was that your first time getting to travel outside your city, or maybe like going international?
Pretty much. Not just me, but my brother. Olodum was like a passport.
Oh, he played in
Olodum.
as well?
My brother's part of Olodum too.
Wow.
That's what actually got me into Olodum, was my brother, because my brother, he was a co-writer of one of the songs, one of the biggest hits by Olodum, called Avisa Lá. One of our relatives, our cousins, wrote the song with my brother.
Wow.
But so my brother actually interpreted the song in a festival called Femadum. It's a music festival by Olodum. That's where they choose the best songs written by all the composers, songwriters that actually write songs for Olodum, or for a bunch of Afro blocks. We call Bloco Afros of Salvador.
Wow.
They all practice all year round just to parade for 2-3 days of the carnival.
Wow.
So the song that they have to choose have to be the song that's gonna symbolize the group for the carnival.
Yeah.
Like Avisa Lá was one of the biggest songs at that time, and then my brother was actually the one who performed the song for the first time for the audience to vote which song will be the song for Olodum for the carnival. So my brother, he brought Avisa Lá to that. We call Nossa Gente. The song is translating as Our People. But the nickname is Avisa Lá. Avisa lá, avisa lá, avisa lá, oh, oh. So that song, it caused a big impact in my life because my brother was the one who brought that song to life.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So, and that gave me a reason to look for Olodum as a school. Olodum is not just a band. Olodum is an entity. Olodum have school, dance, theater.
Really?
All of that. One of the biggest black performers of Brazil. They have to take that from Olodum, from Bahia.
Wow.
Anything that Olodum provided as a reference to whatever we want to do in life. You know what I mean? Doesn't have to be just in the lyrics. The instruments of Olodum is something that inspired so many people. Paul Simon, Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I forgot they recorded with Paul Simon.
They recorded with Paul Simon. Olodum brought one of the biggest crowd at the Central Park at the era that they recorded about 20-something years ago, 30 years ago almost. About that.
Yeah,
about
I remember that was a famous concert.
Yeah, that was a huge concert they did at Central Park, and Olodum was there to perform.
Wow.
You see what I mean? So Jimmy Cliff recorded with Olodum.
Yeah.
You know, so many people.
How old were you at this time when you first started playing with them?
14, 15.
Wow.
Yeah, about 14, 15 years old.
Wow.
When I started singing. I actually started with the junior band. Olodum have a junior band.
Oh, wow.
So everybody was like, teenagers. And my brother, when he came in, he went straight to the adult band.
How much older is he than you?
3 years old.
3 years. So he was probably like 17 or 18 maybe around that time?
About that.
Okay.
So my brother was actually, everything I do today was based upon my brother.
Wow.
The little brother trying to catch up with the big brother. So music was the thing. Doing hair was the thing my brother was doing, and I want to do like my brother. So I wanted to do a lot of things, mimic my big brother doing things.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. So what were some of those early experiences like once you finally got to travel and start to see the world? Like, how did that kind of change your perspective on things? And where were some of your favorite places that you went?
Man.
I know it's a big question.
No, I think I'll say this. What the most important part of it is when you do your first thing with an entity like that.
Yeah.
That one stays with you. Getting on a big stage of the carnival stage and perform.
Yeah.
Or travel to a little city not far from your hometown. That one stays with you sometimes more than the ones you achieve in life. Because the first one, when you get on stage and see all that people, and then you like, that one stays with you more than the ones you're more relaxed. I still get like that sometimes. I get like that doing my own stuff.
Yeah.
I can play in like 30 shows back to back, and then that's gonna be that one show that you always dreamed of. Like when I went to Brazil this last year in November, I get on stage of to me is the biggest reggae concert in the world.
Yeah.
It actually is the biggest one in South America. For me to get on the stage that I always dreamed of.
Yeah.
I've been on the festival only one time. And the festival's been around for 20 years. That was the 20th year. And I'm glad that I participated with this band from São Luís, Maranhão, that I know through Jahgun and Raiz Tribal. And they're actually featuring in my new album too. And for both of us, it was like, for me and for them, for the band, is our dream that we shared at the same time, the same moment. Because I did a featuring on one of their songs.
Yeah.
On the track, The Cool Runnings, Rhythm.
Yeah.
I participated on that, on the featuring thing. And that was, like I said, was our dream to get on stage. I have to perform that same song on the big giant festival at the Caliber. There was like Alba Rossi, Bernie Spear, Groundation, Rima, local bands from Brazil, like the big heavyweights of Brazil, Ponto de Equilíbrio, Edson Gomes, who else? Max Romeo performed.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, to be there, to open up for all these acts in a festival, the Caliber, for me was bigger than anything I ever achieved in life. That day, I was singing, but I was very shaky.
Wow.
And at the time that we performed wasn't even 10% of the whole capacity of the audience.
I saw the videos. It still looked pretty massive.
Yeah, it was a lot of people. That was 6 o'clock.
Wow.
We're the first act. 6 o'clock we perform. The show didn't finish until 6 a.m. 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. You see what I mean? The back to back. One was 2 stages. One band performed here. When we finish here, Max Romeo started playing right after, you know. And then when he finished, then Rima came right after, and it just was like that. No breaks.
Yeah.
You didn't have time to go to the bathroom. So finish one song, or finish that band, and the other band come right after. And was nice because it was like back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't get to see us. But they release videos. They release videos of all the performers.
Yeah.
Every week they were releasing, so people can actually get to see the acts that they missed it.
Yeah.
And I think we did it very good. You know, we did it pretty good because a lot of people didn't believe. They always like that. They didn't believe what they have is precious. You know, as precious as the outsiders. You know, there in Brazil, I would say like this, and I don't really care. We have the syndrome in Brazil. We have a thing that we say, vira-lata. Vira-lata is a dog. It's a street dog, you know. We have a syndrome that only what you have is better than what I have. You see what I mean? So a lot of people in Brazil think that way. So they will think the greatest come from different places, which I believe there's great people, great musicians, great performers everywhere. In Brazil, we do have that a lot.
Oh, yeah,
and
absolutely.
people always want to be like Brazilians, but we want to be like somebody else. You know what I mean? We want to be as good as, you know what I mean? So when I go home, sometimes people don't even know I'm from Brazil, you know, because they used to know me as Fabio. You know, that's the name I grew up with. And then I get baptized again as Jahgun, with a mean warrior in Yoruba. And I choose to carry that name, you know, because it symbolizes more of who I am than have a name that my mother gave to me. Not, you know, displacing the name that she gave it to me.
Sure.
But for me to choose what I've became is part of choosing my name. You know, it goes together. You know, I believe I'm a warrior, and I will not stop until, you know, until it's time to stop. I continue. So that's where the Jahgun came from.
Wow.
The person who chose to give me that name, you know, she's like my Nigerian mother. She gave me that name. She said, "You look like Jahgun, Jahgun," and Jahgun means warrior. So everything that I look for was to have my own name that I chose to have.
Wow.
Not a name that somebody gave to me. People usually give nicknames, but for you to choose your name, you're always gonna choose something cool to be, you know, to stick with you.
Yeah.
So every time I have to introduce myself to people, I introduce myself as Jahgun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what is your real name? I said, this is a real name. It's a name. You know, and that's the name I'm gonna carry until I die. Everything I do is under Jahgun. You know?
Yeah.
So who knows me as Fabio? They know me as Fabio. It's still my name. But Jahgun is my middle name, and as my business, as my name, as my entity, as my belief. You know, I believe I'm a warrior. So I have to remember every day, this name is mine. You know?
Yeah. How old were you when you decided on Jahgun?
20.
Okay. So were you still playing with
I've been
Olo
Jahgun for
Doom?
25 years.
Wow, yeah. That's a long time. But so you started playing with Olo Doom in the junior band when you were about 14, and then at one point, maybe a couple years later, you joined the would it be
No,
like,
the fusion is like this.
Yeah.
Olo Doom is like they have a division, right? You have the children's division, the junior division, and the adult division, which the adult division, everybody plays there, even the kids.
Wow.
So when you watch They Don't Really Care About Us, everybody's there.
Were you in that video?
I was part of the video, but you don't see me because I'm so young and right away in the back in the crowd, so you
That's
don't
still
really get to see
amazing though,
me.
man.
But you don't get to see me there. But I was more like a spectator there because of so many of the musicians I could not go ahead and play since I'm not the drummer of the band.
Yeah.
You know, so they don't have singers in a video. So you see everybody else, but everybody's there as a group was there. Even people that was not really lifting drums and stuff like that.
Yeah.
At that moment, but they were there. There was parts, you know, a lot of people, if you go drink something, they don't even let you come back because now the video is rolling and so you out, you can't come back.
Yeah, yeah.
But when Spike Lee was saying you want everybody to be there and feel comfortable doing what they're doing, everybody started feeling more like home, you know, because when you see Michael Jackson there in front of you and you're playing, you're like, or you either look at him or you play.
Yeah.
So they relax, let the man do his thing, you do your thing, and everything was perfect.
Wow. How many years did you spend playing with Olo Doom?
before I start playing with Olodum, I was with the band right there in Pelourinho. Pelourinho was the name of the neighborhood. I was already there. There was a band from Pelourinho that played in my neighborhood one time, right? That's how everything started.
Wow.
And they came over there and performed at my neighborhood. I just got on the stage. Somebody said, hey, you should sing with them. So I got on the stage and I started singing with them. After that, I joined Olodum.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then from there, I was working with them because a lot of the musicians that was there was part of Olodum.
Oh, I see.
So all the musicians that was there was working with me in Olodum. So from there, we started doing a lot of stuff together. And because of Olodum, like I said, the different divisions of Olodum, when the main band travels, the junior band kicks in. And we wanted to do better than the
you know, adult band.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we all have a singer or percussionist that's part of the band. Whoever's playing percussion, there's a percussionist, there's a drummer there that somebody wanna mimic what they're doing to do like them because they became the logo of Olodum. You know, my friends Bira and Grande. That's the two musicians that lifting the drums and dancing and all that kind of stuff. So everybody have to create a signature based upon those guys. Whatever they're wearing, you want to copy that to bring to the same show because you have to bring the same type of show. And for me as a singer, the ones that I inspired myself to be like was no longer in the group. But I was still trying to identify myself with that particular singer. And then like because I love reggae so much, I combine all of that and then finding Jacob Miller of who I am, you know, as an artist. And I said, man, I like to sing like Jacob Miller. So I started mimicking Jacob Miller and adding to Tony Garrido and mixing to the other guy that used to sing in the Olodum and became who I am today. But I was mimicking all these guys where it was part of Olodum because you have the freedom to express yourself. And that's exactly what I did. It was like mimicking these guys and expressing myself in my own way. And I think I'm unique today because of that, of my trying to figure out where I can fit my voice to be similar to, you know, who I can mimic to get my voice to be like. Like I said, like Jacob Miller was the artist that damn, I like, you know, the voice. And I think we sing the same type of vibe and we have the same type of energy, you know. So that's so funny because I meant to ask you about that because I definitely hear a lot of Jacob Miller influences in your singing. But one thing I've always admired about you, which you kind of just said right now, is like you've never tried to be anyone else. Like you may be influenced by these people, but you have a style that's uniquely your own. That's one's the most important, especially me as a grown man. You know, I start having gray hair, imitating another artist. To me, it's not as important as developing my own style. Developing my own style is more important than me trying to figure out how this person saying. I think this way. If I go to the studio to record one of my songs, what I'm talking about on this song. If I'm talking about love, I'm talking about unconditional love. Then I'll think of Jacob Miller. If I think about, I want to sing something very nice and sweet, like "Be with you." Then I think of Smokey Robinson. And you know, not that I say I'm gonna imitate Smokey Robinson in this song, or gonna imitate Jacob Miller in this song. No, it's like how they would sing this song. If I wrote this song for Smokey, how we'll sing this song. You know, if I sing this song for Bob Marley, which is the greatest of all times, how Bobby would sing this song if this was Bob's song. You know what I mean? So I never have the talent, and me and my brother always talk about that. If I have the talent of imitating somebody, I'll imitate Bob and Jacob Miller together and have the fusion of Bob and Jacob Miller. And then a little bit of Smokey Robinson just to, you know, for the Turn Your Lights Down Low or Susie. Susie. You see what I mean? That's a love song that they've done, and a lot of people don't even listen to their songs because they're rebels and they sing about love.
Man.
And so
that's one thing I love about your music too, is like listen, and in your new album especially, My Foundation, everybody should check that out. produced by Aston Barrett Jr. And you guys are a great team. But one thing I love about that album is you've got these like beautiful lovers tunes that are just like, oh man, they're just incredible. Like your voice sounds so like sweet and amazing on those songs. And then like another song will be like a revolutionary kind of like rebel song.
That's like I say, it's a combination. The fusion of having the rebel and the lovers together.
Yeah.
And that's the whole album is based upon that. The whole album fully, the other day called me to record something, and I said, I will do it. And then he sent me the recording. I started doing, say, can you write not about lovers? I was like, okay, hold on a second. And I wrote the song in about 10 minutes, and I recorded, as I was writing the songs, I recorded. And I sent it back to him and said, oh, I like that. And then after that, we were talking on a phone call, and then the conversation was about some of my lyrics. Excuse me. Some of my lyrics. Nobody actually writing lyrics like that today.
Yeah.
Because, like I say, I look for the ones that people are not looking for to be, to actually find themselves in. I'm looking for the ones that people don't want to be like. Nobody want to be like Jacob Miller. Nobody want to sing like Smokey Robinson. Not just on the performance of the lyrics. It's just in the writing of the lyrics. You know what I mean? So singing Africa Gave Birth. That's a militant song. But I put a little twist of Jacob. On purpose, I did that. I did that on purpose. Yeah. When I was talking to Austin, and I said, man, I like Jacob Miller. He said, do it.
Yeah.
They said, I don't want it to be like that. No, man, do it. You should do it. So I did it. He said, I like Jacob Miller too. So when I did that, and I was like, I felt good because I was like, to honor Jacob Miller, I have to do it that way. Yeah. So when you hear, you're like, damn, it sounds like Jacob Miller because I was not imitating. I was honoring him. That's not imitation. That's me, okay, I'm going to sing this song over here for Jacob Miller. Yeah. So that's why I did that way. If I was to mimic somebody and people like, why are you imitating this? No, that's me. I said, no, I wrote that song and I'm publicly saying that because people, sometimes they can make their own judgmental thing into it. So I have to say it before somebody say, oh, he was imitating Jacob Miller. No, that was not an imitation. Jacob Miller, I can't not imitate people. Yeah. I can emulate what I want to sound like. And that's the difference between imitating and emulating somebody to be like, I'm pretty sure when you play trumpet, sometimes you think like, let me play like, you know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
How this person would do this solo here right now. Yep. And then you do your own thing because whatever he was feeling at that moment was not what you're going to feel at the moment you do it.
Exactly, yeah.
So some soloists, when they play solo, like playing a Carlos Santana solo, anybody who plays guitar and trying to play a solo, like Carlos Santana, you're going to hear Carlos Santana. Yeah. Now, playing the style of Carlos Santana is different. Now, play the similar kind of music and play the same type of things, that's imitation. Yeah. That's why I say I cannot imitate Jacob Miller. So when you hear in my songwritings or my performance, you're going to see it. And you're going to hear, damn, how he sounds familiar, but it's not that. It's just what I'm giving to you is what this artist will give. Yeah. If that was them recording or performing.
Yeah, man.
See what I mean?
That makes a lot of sense. Like, I like what you said earlier too about like you kind of search for lyrics that maybe aren't your typical topics or things that people might not say. Do you have any songs that you've written or lyrics that you've written that you're especially proud of?
Damn, all of them.
Yeah.
All of them. I'm proud of all my lyrics. Even old lyrics because one of my oldest songs, this is my oldest child, actually in English. I'm not going to talk about my old stuff. Talking about the songs that I've done here. Is what is the name of the song? All I Do.
Yeah.
All I Do is one of my oldest songs. I did that when my children's mother, my ex-wife, she gave birth to my daughter. And then I started singing that song. Wow. Because I did my first time traveling after my daughter was born, and then I traveled to Brazil, and then I have to have this little tiny socks I brought with me so I can smell, because those are socks. And then the song came up to me. I was like, damn. All I do is think about you, baby. Wow. And that was just me singing that part only. Yeah. And then it became a love songs. And then I started, I'm gonna write something else to it. So I showed the lyrics to one of my friends. I don't even know if this woman still remember me. She used to be in the studio that was right next to my shop. Actually, it was the same building. And they were recording something, and they asked me how we say this in Portuguese, and I say it to them. So I show it to her. I say, what do you think of this? So I start singing, and I have a difficulties with some parts of the song because I didn't speak English well at that time. I don't know if I do now, but at that time I didn't speak very well. Then she showed it to me how I should say some of the parts of the song, and then that's when I started. But the song was not even reggae; it was like a ballad, R&B type of vibe. You know,
Wow.
Never done anything like that. But then when I produced the album, this it wasn't even an album yet. This album that we released, I was releasing singles. When I talked to Austin, said I got a song. Before I even talked to Austin, I talked to Fully.
Yeah.
And I talked to these people in Brazil to, hey, let's produce this song over here. I recorded the song and I sent what the song exactly sounds like without the reggae vibes so they can have the feeling of it. And then I show it to Fully. Then Austin took everything to a whole different level. And then Leon came and like killed in the saxophone.
Yeah.
And flute. Oh my God. The song became,
Yeah.
that's like I said, that song over there, that's my first child.
Oh.
It was born with my daughter. My daughter's 21. That song was born with my daughter.
Wow.
A little bit younger than my daughter by a month, probably or two. But it was like that song. All I Do is one of my favorite songs. One of my favorite songs. My favorite song is Rosa Negra.
Yeah, of course.
But my favorite song is this one. I got a lot of favorite songs. If I go with my songs, I like this one here because of this and that. Like Ever Love.
Yeah, it's another beautiful song.
Ever Love to me is the song, not just because of the song, the music video and the song goes together. The whole end of the winter kind of thing, and you know, it's a very nice vibe song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are my All I Do and Ever Love are my two favorites off the album.
I
It's
got like I
such
said, I got a
beautiful
bunch
songs,
of
man.
favorite songs in this album that some of them it reminds of Jason because a lot of the songs I show it to him before. I was planning and releasing the album with all the songs, some of the songs on the New Rockers album.
Yeah.
But then, you know, Jason ended up taking off too soon. So
Yeah. Could you tell the people who Yerson was? And
oh,
what your
Jason da
relationship
Conceição,
with him?
actually right now will be 4 years since his death?
Probably about then,
4.
yeah.
About 4
He
years since his
passed
death.
away during COVID.
Jess was like my big brother. He was my mentor. He was my inspiration to a lot of stuff when it comes to music. You know, he's the person who showed me how to use my high notes without losing the masculinity. Because some people, when they sing high notes, they think of a woman's voice. When I sing my high notes, it's a natural voice. So he always asked me to sing that way because he have a very bassy voice. You know, so me and him together singing that, it gives the natural contrast.
Yeah.
That a lot of people don't have it.
That's what I always loved about your duets because, he's got kind of like the raspy
The bass
voice.
exactly,
Yeah,
and I come
you've
with the
got
high
smooth,
note and goes right through it, and nobody's taking nobody's space.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he was an incredible bass player too. Like, I remember when I first met him, I was blown away. He'd play like a 6-string bass.
Oh, you came to visit now?
Oh.
Okay. This is Kete, if you don't know, and this is Bongo.
Yeah.
Go.
Jahgun is also a dog trainer, for those who don't know.
Go, enough. Go. Kete, go. Go. Okay, down.
Oh.
Yeah. I heard, they heard somebody passing by, so they went to check, so and I called them, they have to come to me. Down. They've been here the whole time watching.
Oh.
Down. Sorry.
Oh, they're so cute. But yeah, man, Yerson was an amazing guy, and I was always blown away by his musical talent. Like, he would write horn charts for us, like
right
out
there
the
on the
sheet
spot.
music. Yeah,
Right on the
like,
spot.
Yeah, I'd be so surprised. Like, he would just hear something. He's like, "Wait a minute!" And he just write it out on a piece
right
of
on the
paper. He's
spot.
like, "Play this."
Yeah.
And I was
he
like,
actually
"What the
did
heck?"
that to you. That
Yeah,
he
yeah.
handled the parts of the song.
Yeah,
Say,
the day we met.
So he's like, I told him, I said, man, get them to play. I said, oh no, man, they're not that good. I said, call them, they're good. No, they're too young. You know, Jeff was like, you know, the oldest guy in the group.
Yeah.
You know, very particular with his thing. He's like,
Yeah.
no, they'll say, man, get them. They play. You heard them play. I said, if they can read, I can write the parts. They will play. I said,
Yeah.
Then I asked you, I said, can you read? I said, yes. So can you play with us? He said, with you guys? I say, hell yeah. I said, let's play. He didn't believe. I felt important that day because you thought we was like somebody so big. Like, man, this guy's over here. And that was the opening for Third World, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, man, this guy's over here. And then like, say, oh, let's play. That was you and
Me and Warren. Yeah.
Warren. And after that day, that was like when we, start calling you. And then we played this venue on Tuesdays and you came.
Yeah, every week for a couple years at least, man.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, I'll never forget that. Like what you were saying earlier, how, you were kind of saying like, oh man, you might go on tour around the world and play all these crazy places, but there's never something quite as memorable as that first time. Like that first show with you guys.
That first one is more, it stays with you more than anything else. It stays with you. I prefer my early days, my early years of doing things. I remember more than me playing last week gig.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet. Do you have like a first show you did that really stands out, like one that was really special?
My first one?
Yeah.
The one in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
The one in my neighborhood because that's the one who brought me here.
Yeah.
That's the one who brought me to be here because I used to go to this place and my auntie, she would do hair in this place and she used to do hair on the streets. And then she have her own shop. I used to go over there and I used to cut hair right outside of her shop. And from there was part of that and Olodun and everything, and the doors opened for me. I met this wonderful person who brought me to this country, and she adopted me and brought me here. And actually today is her daughter's birthday.
Wow.
Yeah. Her daughter's no longer here with us.
Oh.
Yeah. So she brought me here. When I met her, she brought me to this country, and after that, I said, I'm not going back.
Wow.
So, yeah.
This was in
After
like 2001,
That's
right? When you moved
beginning
here?
of 2001.
Wow.
The first month of 2001, she brought me here.
Did you move to Los Angeles?
I moved straight to Los Angeles,
Wow.
and she stays in Arizona. But, her house is in Arizona. Her mom's house was in Crenshaw. So when she brought me here, that's where I stayed, on Crenshaw. And everything was new to me. Everything was brand new. It was cold because it was, beginning of the year. And from there, I decided to stay here. And here I am.
And you didn't speak English at the time?
No English at all.
Wow. What was that like adjusting? Was it like a major kind of culture shock or like?
Well, the culture I think the culture was harder for me to get used to than the language. Not so much the culture, but the people.
Yeah, like how so?
People. That's one thing. When you go anywhere in the world, and people ask where you from, you say Brazil, and people open the doors and you come over here, where you from? Brazil. People like, you don't look Brazilian. You know what I mean? So because they're so used to see people that is not as dark as I am, or not as Brazilian looking as I have. People don't like, you don't look Brazilian. I say, I do. If you go to Bahia, where I'm from, everybody kind of have locks and have same type of style.
Yeah.
Even now is more. You see more people with locks. But in Bahia, you see that a lot. You see a lot of Rastas. You see people that non-Rastas with locks. You see, people that have my type of physique and everywhere. So when people telling me, that was kind of like insulting. You don't look Brazilian, then give me some funny treatment. And that part of that makes me want to go back to Brazil sooner than I was supposed to go. And then, getting on a bus, and the bus driver said something to me, and I didn't speak the language, and I couldn't say anything. She didn't believe that I was, from another country because I blend in here.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So I blend in here well, and at the same time, if I say I'm not from here, they don't believe.
Oh, man.
And it was kind of hard.
What a weird predicament.
It was very rude. People were very rude to me. Jason went through the same thing when he came over here, getting on the bus and not speaking the language and put more money than he was supposed to pay the bus, and then trying to get his money back. Couldn't get his money back.
Good luck, yeah.
Exactly. So that kind of happened to, same thing happened to me, not with the money part, but talking to the driver, and she made me get off the bus because I didn't know what the hell she was talking about.
Oh, man.
So she kicked me off the bus. And after that, like I said, I was very, scared of talking to people. And another thing about here, if you say anything in Portuguese in Brazil, I'm going to understand, even if you're not saying correctly. But if I say anything in English that I believe is English and you don't understand at all. It is hard for me. It was so hard for me to try to say something in English, and my accent was so thick. But sometimes it's not just the accent. That's how we learn in Brazil. A lot of words that we learn that's in English, we say the way we say there. It's like even if you go to Jamaica, a lot of Jamaicans, they understand English. But when they start talking in English, it's American English, it's different. You don't understand what they're trying to say. It's not the patois. It's just the way of people saying certain things, certain words.
Certain like metaphors.
You know, I can say cemetery, and then I'm going to say cemetery, symmetry. You know what I mean? So symmetry and cemetery are two different words. The same thing if I say something the way I know how to say in Brazil, not just me, because now I'm living here for long, quite some time, like 23 years.
Yeah.
But people in Brazil, if they get here fresh from Brazil saying things, they will say probably better than what I did coming over here because of the technology now, internet. So people learn more.
Yeah.
But when I came over here, I was just me and a paper dictionary. That's how I got married. That's how I have my kids. That's how I got clients.
Wow.
With paper dictionary in a little book.
So you had to teach yourself how to speak English. Man.
And that's how a lot of things happened at that time. For me, it was hard dealing with people here and culture and in the language more than anybody would deal with today.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man. When you first came over here, had you already decided to become a musician or a reggae singer? Like, what was
I was already everything that I am today. When I came over here,
yeah.
I was already that in Brazil. So modeling, acting, singing, doing hair was something that I brought from Brazil.
Yeah.
That was easier for me than it is for anybody else that been to school to become a lawyer or a judge or anything in Brazil. When they come over here, they have to drive Uber or delivery, delivering food or cleaning somebody's house or whatever.
Yeah.
It is harder, for some people when they don't have anything that is more flexible.
Yeah.
When you come from something, you're a teacher, you do all this stuff that I said. Coming over here, it's hard for you to blend in and trying to make a living over here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then you're gonna need for me, I came over here 2 weeks later, I was doing hair.
Yeah.
When I did my first client, he's still my friend today.
Wow.
Yeah. Ty. His name is Ty. He lives in New York now. He was my first client. I used to cut hair in Brazil. That was equivalent to 3/4 at that time in Brazil. When I came over here, the haircut at the shop where I used to work was $18, $25 with a shave, and I did that for him. He gave me $55. Still remember. After that day, I say, I'm not going. I call my mother, say, I'm not going back. I'm not going back. I'm here. I'm good. So like, hell no, I'm not going back to Brazil. I'm good. So that's one of the main reasons why I stayed here.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Because I came over here to stay 6 months and go home. And that 6 months, I got married.
Wow.
And less than a year later, my daughter came.
Wow.
And, was because, like I say, I knew exactly what I want to do with my life at that time, being 20 or 21.
Yeah.
I knew exactly what I want to do. And everything that I want to do at that time is what I do today. I never changed it a bit of how I think of what I want to do with my life. I think of the same way. I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm just like, I upgraded more.
Yeah.
I'm not just doing this. No, I want to teach. No, I want to do something else. I pass that to my son. Everything I do today is always been the things that I always done in my life. So this was easier for me to be here and be who I am in this country.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't have that, if my uncles and my aunts never gave me the tools that I have today, and the people that was around me, the ones who give me music, the ones who give me the courage, the ones who give me the strength to work and do everything that I do, if they didn't never give that to me, I would not be here today doing what I do.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine what it must have been like to just like drop everything and come to a country that you don't speak the language, and how much of a transition that must be. So I admire anyone who's done what you've done and are here and living the life that you have. I think it's amazing. And we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier too. So I think you were kind of saying like you became a Rasta around the time you moved here as well. Like what kind of drew you to that and yeah, like how did that all happen?
what brought me to that is I always have the Rasta way of life. Always done that. Even in Brazil, I don't drink, I don't smoke. You know, the only thing about Rasta that I don't do is smoke. But the music part and the culture part is always with me. And what brought me to become Rasta to the fullness is the way of life. And the lyrics that forced me to learn English was reggae lyrics.
Yeah.
Listening to Bob Marley before I even moved over here, what taught me English. I have basic English when I came here because of Bob Marley.
Yeah.
Listening to Bob Marley, you know, listening to the lyrics and then reading at the same time, and just hearing somebody that was a foreigner speaking English that the whole world knows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People know about Bob Marley's lyrics more than about any speech that any politicians have ever done.
Yeah.
Do you know the president of Jamaica?
Right now?
Who is the leader of Jamaica? Do you know the name?
Not right now.
Okay,
no.
you know Bob Marley.
Yeah.
Bob Marley, the teacher of everybody. Everybody learns something from Bob Marley.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true, man. Like, so around this time was your first reggae band in California, Reggae Motion?
It was not my first. It was my first reggae band, but my first band was Bad That Way. I came over here with Toby. You met Toby, right?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, of course you know Toby.
Yeah, yeah.
So when I first got over here, I was invited to this Halloween party. That was exactly a carnival. That was a carnival / Halloween party. And I came over there was a bunch of gringos playing Brazilian music. There was nobody in the band was Brazilian.
Yeah.
But they were playing. Actually, I was a singer. The guy singing was Brazilian. I saw them and then my friends were like, "Oh, this is a nice band." The band was tight.
They're good.
You know, they have their accent with the, you know, when
Yeah.
playing the instruments. And I came from Olodum, fresh from Bahia. And I was like, then I would love to sing a song with them. And I talked to this guy that was actually introducing the band, announcing the band, Bacari Santos. I'm still friends with him. And he said, "You want to sing?" I said, "Of course I want to sing." Then he announced me as somebody from Olodum, and everybody went crazy. So I got on the stage because, you know, I was still using ex-Olodum.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so I never like to use that. Even promoters, and I tell them, "No, man, my name is Jahgun."
Yeah.
And at that time, Jahgun wasn't even born yet. But now it's Jahgun, not ex anything. It's
Yeah.
Jahgun, you know. So when I got on stage, I started singing with this band. A week later, I got a call because the singer of the band, he was playing. He's a chef. He was playing. Yeah, he's a chef. He's not a singer.
Wow.
So he was planning to quit the band, but he wants somebody with the capacity
Oh.
of taking over.
Wow.
So I got a call. Somebody called me and said, "Hey, man, this guy want to talk to us." So I went to Toby's house to learn the songs and meet the band and everything. All of a sudden, I start writing for the songs for the band. I started showing them exactly the patterns of, because they all went to Brazil to learn.
Wow.
I was here, so I started teaching because Toby's a teacher.
Yeah.
And the youngest person in the band was Sandy. Me and Sandy, I think I'm older than her, but Sandy could not sing in a lot of the play in a lot of the shows because she was underage. She was like 17 or 18.
Oh, wow.
But you know, the band was great. It was a very, very great band. That's my favorite band that I ever participated in. And then after that, Reggae Motion came because I wrote a song for Badawi called Reggae Motion. Yeah, so I named With Badawi, we feel the reggae motion. So I wrote the band. I wrote the lyrics for the, you know, and it was reggae.
Yeah.
So then I and as a part of the breakdown, like we call the mix in reggae, we call the mix, the dance hall part of the reggae. It's called, and then I actually have to write something more uniquely. Me and Toby wrote that part. Feel into the surdo, feel into the bass, feel into your spirit, take into a higher place. Surdo, if you don't know, is the bass drum of the samba reggae.
Oh.
Yeah, the boom, that's what we call surdos.
Yeah.
The surdos mean deaf because it plays so hard and you can go deaf. So that's what we call surdos. So, and that's what that's what I came from. All of that, Badawi, Olodum. Badawi was my first band over here. Then Reggae Motion. Then Mili Mili. That was another band that was part of a huge band. That one we did a show at that time called Start Tomorrow with David Foster. David Foster was
What?
He was the host of that. We went to the finals in that show.
What?
It was on TV. It was like a battle of the band.
Oh, what?
American Idol. and the voice all together. All types of music, all type of people with this guy. His name called, I think his name of his group, Bigfoot, is a guy who he have no arms and he plays with his legs and sings. Yeah.
He was on the show too?
He was in the show. A lot of people on the show. Travers, was it Trevor Barker or something like that?
Travis Barker?
Travis
the
Barker
drummer?
from the drummer. He
what
was
the
on
heck?
Blanket 182 at the time. He was one of the judges there. So when we did the audition, nobody knew it was actually going to happen because we have Brian, who's a Philippine. We got Masumi, who's Japanese saxophone player. We have who else? I don't remember who else was playing horns there. But then they have Nabucodonosor, who's from Syria. They have Arman and Garo from Armenia. We have Ron, who's from Philippines. We have a Cariz from Kenya.
Wow.
We have Nazo, bass player. It was like a huge band. It was like 15-piece band.
Yeah. But people
I think
all around the
kids
world.
was playing
yeah.
trombone. It was like huge band. So when we played the first note of the band, of the song, Mili Mili, blows everybody's mind. Because we played the surdos, have the surdos, with surdos and Middle Eastern instruments all together. Cajon, we have a drum-back, it was a big fusion.
Wow.
Yeah, the parts that you hear in a keyboard, playing all the Middle Eastern stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
was in the mix of samba reggae, dance hall.
Wow. That's crazy.
Belly dance. We have a belly dancer and a samba dancer at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah. So when you hit the first part of the song, everybody was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Because we have the surdo. They never heard that instrument before. They
Wow.
what is that instrument called? I said, that's the surdo. They said, what does that mean? Then I explained exactly what it says. I mean deaf. He said, I am deaf. So, because we played boom, dun, 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 boom, boom, dun, 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 boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
You hear the Middle Eastern,
Yeah, yeah.
There's a belly dance. And then we hear the samba at the same time.
Oh, man.
And then I'm coming with a ragamuffin style.
Yeah.
Everybody was like,
Oh my
and then the guy
God.
come. You see the Middle Eastern vibe because he sings in Arabic.
Yeah.
And Armand is from Armenia, but his family is Iraqi. So he was singing in Arabic, and
Wow.
I'm singing in Portuguese and English. That was the whole music was fusion was about.
That's
fusing
incredible,
everything.
man.
And then David Foster and everybody's like, hell yeah, I like them. Why not?
Yeah.
And then we went to the next one, and people have to vote online.
Dude, is this on YouTube? Like, I need to watch it.
It should be on
Milli
YouTube
Milli,
still.
what's the name of the show?
No, the name of the show is Start Tomorrow.
A Star Tomorrow, and your band was Milli Milli.
Milli Milli. If you
Okay,
go
I
Milli
gotta check
Milli
this
World
out.
Music, it's on YouTube. Milli
Do you guys
Milli
have
World
albums
Music.
out? Like on?
We did an album. We released an album.
Is it on Spotify still?
No, I don't think it's on Spotify.
YouTube, maybe?
You can find it on YouTube.
Okay, yeah.
I don't
gotta
think we
listen
ever
to this,
released
man.
that. But we have that. I was listening to it the other day somewhere on the
Wow.
internet. But that was one of the biggest thing that I've done here
Yeah.
because we all over. With By the Way, we did a lot of stuff with By the Way. We did a NLACP. That was what it called?
NAACP?
Yeah, that was
Like an award show?
yeah, that was a award show. We did that award show. We did
Wow.
we did American Idol. We did that. We did something with Will Smith years ago. We did something with Little John.
What?
That song
With
Get
Lil
Low.
Jon?
Yeah, with the song Get Low. Get low.
What?
Get low, get low. So to the window, to the wall. So we did a remix with that. So you have the band playing with the samba dancers. We playing samba in there.
What?
We did so much stuff. Bro.
Wow.
We did stuff with TV. We did like stuff with Shakira, all with By the Way. Then
Wow.
we done a lot of stuff. That's how I get the gig for the Rundown was through By the Way, through the band, the Brazilian band. Because I used to perform in this restaurant in Ensino.
Wow.
And then the movie people came to watch our shows, and from there they called me and hey, I want you to be in this over here, and then they showed me what it was, and I don't have to do audition or anything.
Wow.
They just want me to be in the movie.
Dang.
Yeah.
I guess you're right, man. People from Bahia are superstars.
Just like I
That's just
said,
what it is.
You can live Bahia being nobody And as soon as you arrived over here, you was something, man.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm in Hollywood. All right. So I guess I'm a singer today. I'm the master of capoeira. We everything. As soon as we arrive over here, we're not gonna be hungry, man.
Yeah.
If we know how to do something, like I
Wow.
say, I'm glad that I have all the tools before I came over here.
Yeah.
All the tools was given to me before I arrived over here. When I arrived, it was easy, to figure out what I want to do. Not easy to do everything. It was just,
Sure.
was as hard as you can think of it.
Yeah.
23 years, it didn't pass by too quick.
Yeah.
One day I would look like you. How old are you now?
27.
27, and now I'm 35.
Yeah.
Almost 20 years older than you. So the time just like it flew by, but it was like flew by, but like kind of slow motion sometimes. The hardest part is like slow motion. So
Yeah. What have been some of your I don't know, favorite moments or memorable moments from your musical journey, or some places you've been?
Qatar.
Yeah.
Qatar to me was like one of my favorite shows since I've been here outside of this country. I've done things in Germany. I went to Brazil. I went to Qatar. I went in many places to do what I do. And Qatar to me was one of the greatest because people are familiar with reggae, but they're familiar with Bob Marley, not just reggae. So when me and Douglas and Benji arrived over there with the 3 dreadlocks, we have Moshe that went with us too, but we have dreadlocks. So as soon as we arrived over there, everybody was just looking at us. And the majority of the ladies, they have covered the whole face, the whole body, and they were looking at us that way. As soon as we arrived over there with locks, I said, I know these people think we're bringing weed over here.
Oh, man.
And I already know how how the system works over there.
Yeah.
If they catch you with something, they got nobody in the band, do anything like that, especially me. But Douglas was the wild ones. And Douglas actually took the bottles, the little bottles that they're given in an airplane.
Is alcohol illegal there too?
No, not on the streets.
You
got to be in a private place, inside of a restaurant or a bar or whatever, but not on the street. So Douglas did a crazy thing. He brought the bottle of alcohol that was given to him in the airplane. And he walked out. Before I even get to Qatar, I was already stopped in Turkey. We got stopped over there for layover. As we passing through security, they stopped me. And they stopped Douglas. Yeah. And they asked me to. Benji still remember. Benji said, "Man, the lady said, Rasta, take this up." They didn't say Rasta, but they say something. I don't know what they were saying. But they say something that was very bad. In some places like that, there's no law against racism. Yeah. So whatever happens to you, it happens to you. Yeah. So you got to be strong, pass, through and get you the next flight, and then you're out. So... But it was a very good experience, man. I went to Qatar. We stayed there, performed there was us and Maxi Priest. We performed for the military, performing this event. They I don't know if they if they used the name Sunsplash. Wow. Yeah, that was in Qatar, right before Ramadan started. Because when Ramadan started, nobody can do anything. So, yeah. Fasting. When it's time to pray, they stop everything for the prayer. And that's what happened there, the drama part of the whole show. This was I like it because they asked us to do the opening, but Maxi Priest want to go first. Oh, I said we're not gonna play after Maxi Priest. Yeah. Because even though people don't have any other place to go because the place is so small, but the event have only the time from this time to this time. You cannot pass that. You could be doing the best part of your show and somebody said, "Neil, you're done." At that moment, exactly what happened to Maxi Priest, because I got on stage first. The lady say, "You guys go first. Do your set. Maxi Priest come and you guys finish." I said, "That doesn't sound good because what if nobody stays here? That's Maxi Priest, Who's Reggae Motion or Jahgun? This, at that time, I don't know if we were using Reggae Motion at the time, but I think it was Jahgun. I don't remember. But who gonna stay here when we finish?" Or when they finish. Yeah. So what we end up doing, because Maxi Priest only brought a guitar player and a keyboard player. Wow. That was Goofy and there's other guy playing guitar. I brought bass, drum, and keyboard. Yeah. So we end up fusing on stage. Wow. Not pretty much, but when Maxi Priest did something very dumb, And at that time, that I was happy when he did that. He threw a bottle of Red Bull to the audience for people to catch. But you can't do anything like that in places like that. So he threw it, and the police came and got him off the stage.
They took him away?
Took him off the stage. And our gear was still set up because we were supposed to perform again. When we played was earlier, it was nice, hot. It was 115 degrees.
Oh, man.
But it was right at the beach. It was nice. But it was better because it was daytime. When it was dark, it was nice because all the lights on the stage and everything. It was a nice stage. It was beautiful. But we did the best because, like I said, when they came and get him off the stage, there was like, he was on the stage for like 15 minutes.
Oh, man.
They got him off the stage. So we have to continue the show.
Yeah.
So his musician joined us, and we continued the show.
That's crazy.
So I got a full band. So he got kicked off. But
for him to go all the way over there just to
yeah,
get
he was
kicked
pissed
out.
off at me because I did some of the things we do in Brazil, bringing people, like we're doing Pasta Dolce.
Yeah.
People jumping from side to side.
Yeah,
and I did
yeah.
that, and people loved that when I did that. So
Yeah.
I saw him when he was saying something about what we did. So, but the best part of the show was that they got him off the stage, not as a hater, but because he wanted to go first.
Yeah.
And she actually agreed with it, because the only reason he wanted to go first, because they have to pray a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
And that was exactly the time he was supposed to be on stage. If they say we time to pray,
it would, like,
he have
interrupt
to
his
get off the
set,
stage, but he
yeah.
messed it up. He actually blew the whole thing. He could play for another 15, 20 minutes. They would pray for 10 minutes, and then he would get back on stage, finish his set. We get back and finish, but we don't even want to finish anymore. We don't want to do it. So we start walking out when he did that. But it was still part of the show, and they have to pay for the beach, for the time to the time, from the beginning of the time to the time to finish. The lady don't want to just not do it. So we start walking back to the hotel. She called it, no, come back. Then we get back on stage. Our gear was all set up still.
Yeah.
So we get back on stage, and we did a nice show, and like that was a very good experience. It was a nice show. Me traveling for the first time internationally after being here, doing my own show. I wasn't carrying nobody else's name, not Olodum's name or anybody else's name. That was not Mili Mili, not Badawe. It was my name.
Yeah.
It was my show. So to me, that was one of the best shows.
Yeah, for people interested in seeing you perform live, like, what can they expect when they go to a Jahgun show?
Oh, you know already. High energy, purity, love, unity. That's the word, not purity, unity. But you feel that too in my music.
Yeah.
But the energy, this is gonna be the energy you probably only gonna find in watching Capotan or Anthony B. This fire artists. So we bring the same type of vibe in our unique way. You're gonna. That's how you're gonna. That's what you see in our shows.
Yeah, I've always thought that was one
It's always very nice energy,
Yeah, and you're such a performer. Like, no matter what crowd you're playing to, like,
I'm gonna give 200% of what I have.
Man.
That might be my last show.
And you get the crowd into it too, man.
Yeah,
Like, you
that
get
might
people
be.
off their
I
feet.
put that in my mind. Is that every show that I'm probably gonna perform, it might be my last one.
Yeah.
So I give 100%. I don't care if I'm in pain. You're witnessing me being in pain, and still get on stage and do.
I remember you got in a terrible car accident. And
My neck got messed up.
Yeah.
I'm just now feeling better from that, And I got on stage.
Yeah.
And it still, still did my thing,
Yeah.
And if the musicians are playing there, they're kind of quiet, kind of shy, like you. He was shy, and all of a sudden he was jumping on the stage. I brought musicians on stage. John, actually, always the horns get to work. John Lee is an excellent saxophone player. Same thing. He thought he didn't have no flavor until I brought him on the stage. And he always dancing on stage, and he loved that, playing flute and singing and dancing. Get him to do everything. That he was made to do. Sometimes people, they don't do it because they're too scared.
Dude, the first time I ever did choreography on stage was with you, because you just went right next to me. You started doing this move. You're like, "Come on!"
Everybody gotta do it.
Yeah, man. You bring it out of people, and I think you have that effect on the audience too. Like, people might be there just. If you're playing a restaurant or whatever, they might just be there to have dinner. Next thing they know, they're out on their feet
dancing.
jumping around.
They gotta join the band,
Yeah, man. And Yeah, and I guess the last thing I kind of want to touch on, because I've always wondered this, like, you've talked about carnival a couple times in this interview. Like, could you explain to the people listening, like, what carnival is and, why you guys celebrate in Brazil and how you celebrate?
For some people, carnival is just a party. For some of us in Brazil, carnival is not just a party. Carnival is where we pay our bills. It's where we buy our foods. It's with the money that we provide to send the kids to school. To me, as a black man from Brazil, carnival is not just that. Because of the sound of the carnival, it comes from the poverty. It comes from the people, the real people, the people that moves the country, the people that supports the country, the people that bring economy to the country. That's what carnival is to me. So a lot of people, they can't wait to carnival. That's because that's when we bring all the best costumes, the time we bring the best drumming, the best choreography, the best lyrics, the best of everything. Yeah. And that, it means you're still good for next year. And that brings more money, more structure to the entity that you're part of it, during that time of the year. It's 5 days of the year, and it goes by so fast because some people don't even have time to go to sleep. Wow. They play from the time they start, sometimes like 7-8 hours. Wow. Yeah. The carnival starts in the afternoon, and you go from the Queen Mary all the way to the other side of Long Beach. Yeah. You see what I mean? And
it's like a parade in the street.
It is a parade on the street. It's like, I'll say this. Imagine, have you been to the Caribbean Carnival in Hollywood? If you've never been there, okay.
Yeah. I think we played there.
Think of Hollywood in La Brea.
Yeah.
That's where the Hollywood Boulevard stops, right? On La Brea. Mm-hmm. Think of that coming all the way to downtown. Yeah. And turning around and do it again.
Oh, man.
That's what the carnival is.
Yeah.
And in Bahia, if you don't know, not just in Bahia, I'm talking about Bahia in particular because I'm from Bahia. The streets are more going up.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't have anything going down during the parade of the carnival, only coming back. Usually, if we start from here, from the beginning, from this side, we go all the way at 5 miles per hour or less, stopping, and then go all the way to the other side.
Yeah.
So you parade for the TV too. We parade for the audience, parade for the people, and then there is all this big parts of the people stand over there, and that's what the money shot is gonna be. So everybody gotta look good by the time they get to that part to turn around.
Yeah, but you guys have been like parading for a minute. By the time you get there,
you gotta still look good, look fresh. By the time you get there, you're tired already, and that's the last part of the parade.
Wow,
that's what the TV is. It's like you're running for a competition.
Yeah,
and the last part, about to win, you have no more energy to celebrate the victory.
That's when the TV is.
Yeah, the TV is there waiting for you when you got there, like passing out, like that's what the carnival is. Wow. In Rio de Janeiro is different because the whole thing is the parade, and it's not as long. They don't parade through the city. They parade to a particular area. They start here, finish here. Wow. And you got to bring the best right there, and it's different. Even though may take them like 5 hours to complete or 2 hours to complete, but it's less walk. For the samba dancers or for the drummers, it's a lot of work. Yeah. But the majority of the time, carrying all the feathers, that feathers all together is heavy.
Yeah, I bet.
Just like the customs in drums and carrying all the drums and doing the carnival, it's very heavy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man. I hope I get to experience that someday. I've done. Yeah,
you will. You should go to Brazil with us one day.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you should come to Brazil. I got a nice place that you should go and you can stay there. Bring your crew.
Yeah. Well, I hope we get to do it sometime, man. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about on the show? Like, things you got coming up, or maybe music you want to promote?
I got a lot of stuff coming up. The album's already out.
Yeah, My Foundation.
It's gonna be My Foundation.
And why did you decide to call it that, by the way?
That's My Foundation. Yeah. My grandmother passed right before I released the album. And her voice is actually there. Have you heard from the beginning?
Is that? I was wondering whose voice that was. That's the very first song.
That's my grandmother. Is the opening of the album. That's my grandmother because that was a conversation that we were having. She was talking about. She make this sewing things, a little pieces of fabric. She put all together, and she was explaining to that, and then laughing, and she was very happy. The smile you see in the picture, she always have that smile. And that's my foundation. You know, my grandmother and my mother, they're my foundation. I write lyrics about my mom. I write lyrics about my grandmother because they're my biggest inspiration. My inspiration could be an artist, but my biggest inspiration for life, about life and everything that I do, to be a man, a father, a child, a friend, it came from my family, from my grandmother, my mother. They're the ones who brought me into this world, and they told me to do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, so by the way, the music is on all your favorite streams, so you can find on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, everywhere. All music videos. Glenn participating to 90% of the tracks. The ones he's not playing there is because there's no horns, but he played in pretty much. Is at 14 tracks in the album. He played pretty much with all of them, and he even became a cartoon in the music video.
Yeah, a good sensei. Yeah, you guys gotta check that one out.
Check it out. We have a very, very, very important people in this album. We have Glenn, we got Kizombo, we got what his name? With your partner, saxophone player, Liam. We have Fully Forward playing at least 8 tracks on that.
Yeah,
or 9, I think. No, Fully's playing 10 tracks.
Wow.
Yeah, Aston Barrett Jr. playing bass in 2 songs and produced pretty much everything, playing drums and playing organ and keyboards and guitars and all the tracks. Wow. We got Ricardo Verocai, great producer, pianist, and arranger. We have Benji playing bass. You know, we have my favorite people that I work with, all of them in this album. It should be a vinyl coming out soon. I'm just like having difficulties with the album because the album should have a very good quality. The less tunes, the better. So this album have 14 tracks. So I'm planning to select which songs will go to the album.
Wow.
Or I have to make 2 albums.
Yeah.
You know, to make 2 albums, it costs a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't have sponsors. If you're a sponsor, you wanted to sponsor this, I'll take it. You know, big up to Reggae Brenda. She's one of my sponsors. Reggae Brenda supported me to come out with the album. She said, you should do it here.
Oh.
Yeah. She's like, here.
She's the best.
Take my money.
Always comes and
so
supports.
she always, that's one of the biggest supporters. Big up Reggae Brenda again because I know she's gonna watch. So Reggae Brenda went to the Jam Rock cruise. We met in Jamaica. We met on the Jam Rock cruise.
Oh wow! I didn't know that's
she
how
was
you
in
guys
Brazil
met.
now. She was just in Brazil not long ago. Yeah, Reggae Brenda, she's like one of my favorites. You know, through COVID, she was there supporting us.
Yeah.
She was the first person to put money in the jar, and the only reason we continue because sometimes I'm like, man, this lady, she needs music in her life. So she said, you should play music tomorrow. I was like, okay, play a Mozambique day. So we started Saturday, then we changed it to Sundays. But it was good through the whole COVID thing. Then I didn't motivate, he motivated himself by seeing us playing there. So he did start brought it to Long Beach. Yeah. And then the day we didn't play there, we go over there and play with him. Actually, we played there on Saturdays, right? Yours was on Saturdays?
Thursdays on the block. It was Thursdays.
He was on Thursdays. Mine was on Sundays.
Yeah.
So it was perfect.
Yeah.
You know, and we kept a lot of businesses that was shutting down during COVID. We kept them going. Like DPS at that time needs entertainment. We brought it outside and did entertainment there.
That was a beautiful
And then
thing.
the doors started opening again. We brought inside of a DPS. The music was the best part of COVID. The other part was not was not nice. Not nice at all. So music was the only thing that kept the people, not music, just art in general.
Yeah.
Arts in general get people, people that don't even know how to paint started painting. You know what I mean? So songwriters, book writers, all start writing stuff because of COVID. So COVID did helped some people in certain ways. Some people, started business because of COVID, and a lot of things happen for a reason. The Most High knows the best, and what God created as a path, we gotta use it, even though it might be some difficulties in that path. And that was a part of what we went through at that time through COVID. So a lot of people took advantage of, of the situation and.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to share those times together, man. Like playing music
likewise,
with you
man.
during COVID was
during
what we
COVID.
needed, man.
I wrote majority of the songs for this album.
Yeah.
during COVID.
Yeah.
A lot of new songs, a lot of stuff that came out, you know, things that happened during that time, you know, it helped a lot of people, you know,
Yeah.
encouraged a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, man, there's positives and negatives and everything, but it's all part of the journey.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you so much
Thank you, man.
for doing this
Appreciate
today,
it, man.
Everyone, please check out Jahgun, Jahgun. You can check him out on Spotify. Look up for his
All
upcoming
over.
shows.
It's all over,
Yeah,
not
man.
just Spotify.
Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, everything,
Yeah.
man. And check him out for a live show. I guarantee you've never seen anything like what Jahgun does. So, yeah. Man. Thank you all, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes today's episode. If you like what you heard, please feel free to give us a 5-star review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for listening. Feel free to follow us on Instagram at Top Rankin Podcast or our Facebook page. We also have a YouTube channel. Feel free to check that out as well. And we hope you tune in next time for more interviews with your favorite band members and reggae artists. My name is Glenn Holdaway, and thank you so much for listening.